Hey, Thomas, it's movie times again. I got Tony here with me. I'm going to start off with Undertone. Tony was spared the horror of a non-horror movie in Undertone the other day. He didn't come because he had soccer,
Hockey Banquet.
hockey banquet. Well, it's an A24 horror film written and directed by Ian Towson. Ian, you need to go back to writing school because there was no horror in this movie. The film stars Nina Curie, about the only person, and then her mom. God knows what her problem was. The only thing that anybody said anything good about was the sound, because every time I took a nap, it was the screaming sound that woke me up. Yes, that's how bad it was. There's some mysterious, disturbing audio recordings that these two podcasters are listening to and trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So is the audience. They're trying to figure out what the heck is going on too. So, folks, Undertone, I give it maybe 1 out of 5. It was that bad. Now, let's move on to Reminders of Him. Tony.
So it's yet another adaptation of a Colleen Hoover novel. This follows a young woman who's putting her life back together after it's crumbled to pieces in a remote town, kind of the middle of nowhere, and she's trying to get back on her feet after a tragedy. And honestly, it takes a long time to get going. The first 25 to 30 minutes really, I know you got to establish a story, but it really does so in a very slow moving way. Having said that, after, we get to meet both Micah Monroe's character, and then we get to learn Tyreek Winter's character. The two share a really palpable chemistry. It is cute and charming, even though very, very predictable. But man, those last 15 minutes will really tug at the heartstrings.
Yeah, it is a tug at the heartstrings. And for me, it was family, devotion, and forgiveness. And you said that before about forgiveness, because you're right. There's a lot of forgiving that doesn't happen until the last, you're right, 20, 30 minutes of the film. But the rest of the time, it's a little brutal in how they actually treat her and how they won't let her. Well, we won't get into that. We won't talk about that. I'm gonna go ahead and give reminders of him 2.5, maybe 3 out of 5. Out of 5, yeah.
I'm at the same. I say I give it a solid 3 out of 5. Look, this is my personal, and it's not a high bar, but my personal favorite of the three Colleen Hoover adapted novels so far. There is a lot to like between Micah and Tyreek's character. Again, predictable. It's not going to surprise you at all. But I thought the emotion there at the end seemed very genuine.
Okay. It is now time to move on to the Oscars. It is Oscar weekend. Guys, woo, what's going to be going on in the Oscars? Tony, let's start off with what we started doing last week. We're going to go ahead and repeat again this week. And I'm going to start it off with the performance of an actress in a supporting role because this is the big stuff. So, Ellie Fanning, Sentimental Value. Of course, I can't spell or say Inga's name from Sentimental Value again. Amy Madigan from Weapons, Wunmi Masaku from Sinners, and Tiana Taylor, One Battle After Another. Uh, Again, it's going to be between Tiana and Amy Madigan as far as supporting actress. What about you? What do you think?
I agree. It's one of those categories that's honestly a complete toss-up. Wunmi could sneak in and win it as well. I just think one battle after another, the love for this film is really going to sweep over the Oscars. We'll see if I'm right, but I think Tiana will win.
Okay, speaking of actress in the leading role, Jessica Buckley Hamnet, Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson, Song Sung Blue. She did a pretty good performance. Renata Renz for Sentimental Valor. There we go again. Emma Stone, Begonia. I don't even know why she's nominated. But the big one is going to be Jessica Buckley in Hamnet, even though her latest movie bombed at the altar. We won't even bring up the name of it. You already know what it is when I said altar. But Jessica Buckley, I think she's going to win this hands down.
Yeah, Jessie Buckley 100% will win this hands down. I think that it's been just a sweep for her almost this entire award season, aside from Rose Byrne winning an occasional award over her here or there. It's very much deserving, and I hope that more people will search out Hamnet because of her work in it being so phenomenal.
Supporting role by an actor, of course, Benicio del Toro, One Battle with Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo for Sinners, who's won other awards and other award shows, but not for, we're not sure what's going to happen with this one. Sean Penn, One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård, Sentimental Valor. I have to agree with you a little bit. Sean Penn is probably the leader in this. Delroy Lindo is probably going to be if he slips in, that's going to be very interesting. Who do you think?
This was you asked me 4 months ago. Stellan Skarsgård had all the word of mouth. I do think though that this is Sean Penn's award. I think he's going to get I think it's third Academy Award. And for a man who really doesn't care about it, it's going to be interesting to see what he has to say in his speech. That's for sure.
Definitely. Actor in the leading role. Of course, your favorite is Timothy Chalamet, party, Marty Supreme. Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another. Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon. I still haven't seen it yet. You gave it a lot of praise. Michael B. Jordan in Sinners and Wagner Moura in The Secret Agent. The sleeper on this one's going to be Wagner. Of course, you're going to say it's going to be Timothy, who has won. Michael B. Jordan. We shall see what happens with that. What do you think?
I mean, it's another one that as the year has gone on, I thought it was pretty much going to be Timmy's award. And I don't know if it was just the constant promotion of the film, the way he went about it, but it seems to have really worn people down. I still think Timmy's going to just get ahead of the line a little bit here and get his first lead actor award. But man, Michael B. Jordan could very well be going home with the Oscars, a very real possibility.
Could be. All right, let's talk about Best Picture. Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. So give me your top three that you think might win.
I think number one has to be without question, One Battle After Another. It's one of the most precursors. Sinners is right there. I wouldn't even say behind it, almost neck and neck. And I think three would have to go to Hamnet, just given the fact that it won, best drama at the Golden Globes. Wouldn't be my personal number three, but I think that's award wise that it has a good shot at it. Man, One Battle After Another, Sinners. It's going to be really exciting to see whose name gets called when that envelope gets open. Both incredibly deserving films, but only one's going to be cemented as the Best Picture winner.
I hope they bring Faye Dunaway back and she'll make that mistake. And the winner is One Battle After Another. Oh, no, it's Sinners. It's Sinners. You're right. One Battle After Another. Sinners is number two. And I have to agree with you too. Hamnet is in there somewhere, definitely. Again, it's a toss up between Sinners and One Battle After Another. That's what I think it's going to be. Of course, we will not know until later on in the week on Sunday. Right? What time? Red carpet's going to be interesting too. I'm looking forward to seeing the red carpet. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially with everything going on in the world, a lot of people are going to have certain things to say. There's always a little bit of a tease of certain, new announcements. A lot of movies people are anticipating this year might get some secret tidbits about some big ones, on the red carpet as well.
I'm waiting for the political snubs that are going to happen at the Oscars too. We'll talk about that. All right, folks, enjoy the Oscars, enjoy the weekend. Let's see who the big winners are, and we're going to talk about it next week. See you next week.